CUPRA Leon might not be the standalone Cupra hot hatch model we'd hoped for, but it does offer a very appealing and satisfyingly sophisticated, affordably priced alternative to that fast Volkswagen Golf, Skoda Octavia or Audi A3 Sportback model you might have been considering. As with those cars, this Spanish shopping rocket comes with a choice of conventional petrol turbo or PHEV power plants, and we're promised that there'll be Latin spirit in every one. Let's see.
In contrast to previous generation Cupra badged Leons, which offered a single, super-focused variant for single-minded hot hatch enthusiasts, what we're now presented with is a range of Cupra Leons with varying degrees of performance focus. The lineup kicks off with a couple of 245 PS models, one conventional with a 2-litre TSI engine, the other more unusual with a 1.4-litre TSI plug-in hybrid powertrain, which is the one we're trying here. This PHEV obviously suffers a bit in terms of cornering agility with its extra 186 kilos of weight. Many though will think the sacrifice worth making to get up to 34 miles of all-electric driving range and some impressive efficiency stats. For the hatch version, up to 217.3 mpg and up to 30 grams per kilometre of CO2. And you still get alert feelsome steering and the advantages of the standard DCC dynamic chassis control adaptive damping system with a myriad of setup options. For a more focused drive though, you'll need to concentrate on the two fastest variants, probably the TSI 300 derivative, which shares its 2-litre TSI engine with Volkswagen's well-regarded Golf GTI Club Sport. That's tough competition, but if anything, the Cupra feels a touch better tuned than its Golf counterpart. The snap you get from the 7 ratios of the DSG pedal shift auto gearbox, for example, and the impressively unintrusive intervention of the VAQ limited slip differential, which through the turns kills almost any trace of torque steer and allows the grippy Bridgestone rubber to almost always incorruptibly get enough traction down to the bitumen to fire you from bend to bend. This car just grips and goes very quickly as it happens, making 62 in just 5.7 seconds, a figure you can reduce to just 4.9 seconds if you go for the even quicker TSI 310 estate model, which benefits from 4-drive all-wheel drive. It's quite clear that this is a more purposeful breed of Leon, although the aesthetic changes made over the standard model aren't actually that far-reaching. This would-be Alfa Romeo was penned under the oversight of Alejandro Mezzonaro Romanos, who ironically is now head of design for Alfa Romeo, someone who clearly understands the importance of defining detail in brand DNA, evident here whether you opt for this 5-door hatch or the alternative estate. All the core things here at the front are pretty much standard Leon, the long creased bonnet and the trapezoidal grille with its flanking LED headlights, but everything seems more dynamic and different. That grille has a dark chrome frame and it's embellished by a bold Cupra logo, and the required overtaking presence, well, that's delivered by larger air intakes and a large front splitter. Move in profile and you might spot that this car sits 25mm lower at the front and 20mm lower at the rear than an ordinary SEAT Leon. The rear makes its own statement too, with 2 copper-coloured dual exhausts embedded on each side of this unique diffuser, which along with this more overt roof spoiler is one of the things that makes this Cupra Leon's aerodynamics 8% better than the previous generation model. So this Cupra has much more of its own identity, but will that carry forward into the cabin? Cupra puddle lights give the car a more unique feel at night when you get in. But it's all pretty standard Leon fare once you take a seat inside, although the brand has done its best to add a few differentiating touches. You're treated to sports bucket seats, a leather-stitched Cupra steering wheel and silver Cupra Sports pedals. And the copper-coloured theme continues, most notably with this trimming around the prominent air vents here, but also with the stitching that you get on the seats and also on the wheel. More powerful Cupra Leons get little Alfa-style buttons hanging off the steering wheel spokes for drive modes and for engine ignition. and there are bespoke CUPRA graphic options in the 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster screen. That's part of the digital cockpit arrangement, which features on all 4th generation Leon models, and it pairs this display with a 10-inch center stack media system plus with navigation monitor. This CUPRA model also gets the smart interior wraparound lighting feature found on pricier Leons, which gives the cabin an unbroken arc of light wrapped around the entire width of the dashboard, and that continues on into the doors too, and it glows different colors to alert you to different features, blind spot detection for example. There are a few irritating foibles, the slider controls for the audio volume and for the climate system for example, and the fact that so many key elements are buried away in sub-screen menus. But build quality, that's strong. There are plenty of useful features on the voice controlled center stack monitor, and rear parking sensors along with a rear view camera are both standard fit. Okay, let's take a seat in the back. The CUPRA Leon is a slightly longer car than its Golf GTI cousin, and that, along with this KL series model's 50mm wheelbase increase, leads you to hope for a touch more rear legroom, which by and large is what you get, an extra 49mm of rear seat legroom compared to the previous 5F series 3rd generation Leon Cupra, meaning that a pair of 6-foot adults could be accommodated here in some reasonable comfort, providing front seat occupants don't slide their seats fully back. Let's finish this segment by taking a look in the boot, the catch for which is activated by pushing this center tailgate badge. Your salesperson may well be keen to reference the fact that the CUPRA Leon's usual 380 litre trunk space capacity, exactly as that of a Golf GTI, is around 40 litres more than you get on a rival Ford Focus ST, enough for up to 6 carry-on cases. They're less likely to point out though that this Leon's capacity is still significantly down on what you'd find in segment rivals like Skoda's Octavia VRS and Honda's Civic Type R, and they might also neglect to mention that if you happen to choose this CUPRA Leon e-hybrid PHEV model, cargo capacity falls massively to just 270 litres. Pushing forward, the conventional 60-40 split rear bench frees up 1,470 litres across a load area that'll be virtually flat if you have the boot floor in its upper position. It's 1,210 litres with this e-hybrid variant. If you do need lots of regular cargo versatility, you'll obviously be better off choosing the CUPRA Leon Estate body style. That offers a 620 litre boot or 470 litres with the e-hybrid, which on the conventional model is extendable to 1,470 litres with the seats folded. There's never been a CUPRA badged Leon quite like this one. For some hot hatch customers, the idea of being able to combine storming performance with the all-electric drive capability of this e-hybrid variant will be novel. Others will want to stick instead with the familiar 2-litre petrol turbo formula of the more conventional derivatives. It's true that most of what's on offer here can also be had in differently packaged form with sporty versions of the Golf, Skoda's Octavia or even Audi's A3, but the CUPRA Leon has a slightly more dynamic look and feel than any of those cars, closer to an old school hot hatch if you like. If its engaging twist on the usual Volkswagen Group shopping rocket convection appeals, we think you'll bond quickly with this Iberian road burner.